Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in the middle of our war. Well, right now, you don't see the beautiful Judean hills behind me because I'm in the middle of my different responsibilities. So I'm on a break and I'm here sitting in a beautiful library near where my post is. So I'm able to get in here and do this video and then go back to my post when I have to in a few hours. I just saw one of the saddest videos so far of this war because it's a video that encompasses everything. It encompasses the tremendous tragedy that has befallen the Jewish people. It has it encompasses the tremendous immorality that is being ignored by too many people, including world leaders, and including many of our own leaders in Israel. They're not ignoring it, but they can't deal with it properly. But we'll get to that later. This video is a father thanking IDF soldiers for finding the head, the beheaded head of his son in Gaza since his son was brutally massacred on October 7th. So you hear the evil we are up against. His son was killed together with over 1,000 other Israelis, innocent people of all ages. And then he and others were beheaded. They literally took his head with them, and I guess other heads, to Gaza. And the head was found by IDF soldiers, the holy of the holy IDF soldiers, fighting this evil that we're up against. That's against the whole freedom-loving world that the world ignores. I had no words. And what's this father doing? He's thanking the IDF soldiers for finding his son's head and bringing it back so it could be buried, I guess, with the body. I don't know. This is our reality, a reality that global leaders ignore, an evil that global leaders ignore because they are forcing Israel to end this war against this evil, to allow them to kill us another day by coming up already with the day after plan that Hamas has, they're going to obviously have to remain there, but it won't be Hamas. It will be a revised Palestinian Authority. But yeah, they'll still be able to shoot rockets at us. Like, are you insane? Has the world gone insane? No, everybody. The world has always been this insane. There are global leaders who have no intent of good. They have other intentions. They have other goals to accomplish that do not include providing safety and security for you and me, the citizens of the world. I mean, you don't have to go, if you're American, you don't have to go far. Or if European, you don't have to go far. Think of the millions of illegal migrants that your leaders have allowed into your countries, destroying from the inside your countries, your streets, your schools, your culture, crime. You think your leaders actually care about you? You really think your leaders care about you when they allow for open borders? Like try to immigrate properly through a plane and you'll be stopped because you don't have a visa or you didn't file the correct application to immigrate. But come in illegally through boats, through the sea, or through the borders, that you're allowed to do, right? Make that make sense, President Biden and prime ministers of Canada and England and France. Like, make that make sense. doesn't make sense. Our global leaders are blatantly going against the law. They should all be jailed and endangering your lives. And then when it comes to Israel, it's stopping us from being able to defend ourselves. Any leader who truly cares about justice and good versus evil, they would say, yeah, Israel, you do what's necessary to end Hamas evil. You do what's necessary to kill and or jail every single person involved with supporting terror. Kick out the United Nations and UNRWA from Gaza and Judea and Samaria because they are educating children to kill Jews and hate Jews using international funding, your taxpayer money. That's what global leaders should do. But they don't. They're fine with letting us get killed. And then some people are going to say, oh, but America gives you so much funding and arms. Guys, America's also giving Iran billions of dollars. The United States also gives Jordan billions of dollars, Egypt billions of dollars. Who are Egypt and Jordan one day going to use their armies against? Who? Who? Us. Right? America's pushing Israel to appease Hezbollah in Lebanon. They made us give away our land rights, land and sea, to Hezbollah in Lebanon. And so that they can continue having the world fund Lebanon, which is really goes to Hezbollah, a terror proxy of Iran. It's like America's funding both sides of the war, guys. Both sides. The Biden administration doesn't care about Israel. The State Department doesn't care about Israel. Historically, they have always been about weakening Israel while giving us aid. Now, you know what? I want to get into this. But before I get into this, watch this video clip of me yesterday during my IDF reserve duty. We had a special operation. So check it out.
Here we go, guys. Helicopter Tuggiel in the Army. Getting ready, folks. Love being an IDF soldier in today's generation. We are here to defend the Jewish people every way we can. Am Yisrael Chai, everyone! Am Yisrael Chai!
Now, you see how excited I was? That's the first time I was ever on an IDF helicopter. And that wasn't an operation, that was a training. It was a training thing for us to be able to be trained properly how to interact with helicopters. So that's one of the things we did yesterday in between our various security positions that we had to do during the day as well. All right. But I was blown, like my first time in the helicopter, but we were forbidden from taking videos or pictures in the helicopter. So I could only give you the one from outside the helicopter. Now, everyone who knows about the Israeli Air Force knows like we have one of the best air forces in the world, right? Now, did you know that all of our helicopters and all of our planes are basically supplied by the United States of America? So on the one hand, we have to be very thankful, right? We got F-16s, we got Phantoms, we got these, as in terms of planes, then we have the helicopters. Like, all right, thank you so much. America has unbelievable Air Force technology or planes. Then Israel develops all this technology that because of our strategic alliance with America, we put in American-made planes, which make the planes even better. Than I know Israel uses all this technology. I imagine America can or whatever. In any case, did you know that around 40 years ago, Israel was developing its own Air Force jet? It was called the Lavi. It was the most advanced Air Force jet that was going to exist in the world. More advanced than the F-16s at the time. And everyone knew it. It was talk of the town. Do you know why Israel does not have the Lavi plane today? Because America, and this was under President Ronald Reagan at the time, I guess the beginning of the 80s, forced Israel to trash the Lavi project, to stop the development of the plane. Because America, with the American government's deep connection with the defense establishment and the companies that develop planes in America, they did not want Israel to be developing competition. So they squashed the project because obviously they pressured Israel. They threatened, if you do not stop the Levy project, well, Israel will not receive this or that or whatever, and America won't be as supportive of Israel. So Israel had to squash the Levy jet plane project. So that's why we don't have a Lavi, and that's why Israel today is 100% dependent on America for our Air Force. But it's not just our Air Force. Did you know that during the Obama administration, first of all, in 2014, in the middle of the war, right? There was a war with Gaza. Hamas and Islamic Jihad were shooting rockets at Israel. Israel was shooting missiles in the air to shoot the Hamas and Islamic Jihad rockets out of the sky so it didn't hit Israel. Obama pressuring Israel stopped the delivery of the rockets or the anti-rocket missiles that we needed in order to shoot the rockets out of the sky. Obama stopped. Well, that shows you what happens when we're dependent on America. We get a bad president, bad administration. They stop allowing us to defend ourselves. It was defensive missiles. And Obama stopped that. And Obama wasn't even bad for that. In the aid package that was given to Israel at the time during the Obama administration, Obama had a condition. Israel could no longer produce its own munitions. Right? So I don't know exactly what the munitions were at the time, but basically today, Israel is almost 100% dependent on receiving all of munitions and weapons from America. You see the problem? I just showed you one example of the problem of Obama during 2014, where he literally stopped the delivery of missiles to save Israeli lives in the middle of our war. This is the untold story about US financial aid, which I'm sure is not just applicable to Israel, but applicable to other countries as well. US financial aid are golden handcuffs. Golden handcuffs, right? Meaning they condition their aid. And then we are under the thumb of any American administration of having to listen to their dictates or else feel the pressure from America. And what pressure does the American government have over Israel at any given moment? Stopping the delivery of munitions, of equipment, whether before a war, during a war, or after a war, withholding America's veto vote at the United Nations Security Council, and any other way that America can or should help Israel, its strongest ally probably in the world and definitely in the Middle East. So Israel finds itself, and Israeli leaders, prime ministers, governments find itself with its hands tied behind its back. Like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu knows, he knows the only way to end the terror from Gaza is for Israel to have full control of Gaza and allow Gazan Arab Muslims to voluntarily leave, like other war zones. He knows that, but he can't say that. Instead, he has to say Israel has no intent of staying in Gaza and no intent of having Gazans leave. Why? Because if he would say either of those things, well, you'd have the fire and fury of the Obama Biden administration. Yeah, it's really Obama behind the scenes, pressuring Israel and punishing Israel, withholding a veto vote, withholding funds, withholding munitions, withholding aid, withholding. That's our reality. So that's why we have a prime minister who is not standing up and saying what needs to be done. That's why the Biden administration is so upset at him that And this was the magic of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And I have plenty of criticism towards Prime Minister Netanyahu, plenty on many issues. On not doing enough to protect us, on not doing enough for Judea and Samaria, on not implementing sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, on not taking care of the illegal buildings of Arab Muslims in Judea and Samaria, of stopping Jewish building in Judea and Samaria, right? On COVID, I have so much to complain about Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that I have complained about publicly all these years. But there is one thing about Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that he is unbelievable and better than any other prime minister that we have. He understands the geopolitical situation of Israel, and he understands that he tries to achieve things without saying them out loud. And he says out loud what the US administration especially needs to hear in order that they're not too angry at us. He's walking the tightrope of like saying things they want to hear, but not totally following policy. So like to continue getting the support we need so America won't stop delivering stuff and won't withhold veto power at the United Nations Security Council, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So understand that is a very important aspect of our reality when you understand what's going on politically with Israel and Israel doing what's necessary to stand up for ourselves or not. So then you have people who say, well, we're not going to get out of this mess until we have a prime minister who will say what's necessary and do what's necessary, even if it angers America. And that might be true. But that can only be true if we have enough Israelis who stand behind the prime minister so that the prime minister knows he doesn't have any other choice. Right? And we're working on that in Israel. Little by little, more Israelis are waking up and realizing we can't trust America. And right now, the fact that the Biden administration is pushing for the creation of a Palestinian state, it's insane. It's delusional. It's totally disconnected from reality. Never before have more Israelis been against the establishment of a fake state called Palestine for our Arab Muslim enemies. Even leftists today in Israel are waking up and realizing that it's dangerous and it can never be. But the Biden, Obama, Blinken administration, they're pushing full storm ahead. Now's the opportunity for the two-state solution. How can we miss the opportunity? Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government are missing the opportunity, and they have to just make the right decisions, right? Which is what the Biden, Obama, Blinken administration wants, which is to create a Palestinian state. So they're creating a plan for post-Netanyahu, when he's no longer there, to pressure whoever comes after him. This is the insanity of our reality. But it's our reality, so we can't deny it. I am here to tell you the inspiring, politically incorrect truth. Now, you want to hear the insane thing about this situation? Listen to this quote, because this quote is so important. Secretary of State Alexander Haig, former Secretary of State Alexander Haig, around 30 years ago when he was Secretary of State, what did he say? Israel is the largest American aircraft carrier in the world that cannot be sunk, does not carry even one American soldier, and is located in a critical region for American national security. A U.S. Secretary of State. That's why America should be giving aid and military aid to Israel, not treating us like a serf that it orders us to do what it wants us to do, not giving us aid as golden handcuffs, tying our hands from being able to defend ourselves properly, but as an equal, providing top-notch intelligence information to America that allows it to provide security for the whole world and especially Americans. That's what we need, that type of alliance between Israel and America. So I'm not against accepting U.S. financial aid. I'm against this relationship of master-slave where American financial aid is a golden handcuff and conditions how we act to defend ourselves. We need an alliance. America gives aid to Israel because Israel provides so much to America. So I'm waiting for the leadership in Israel that stands up to create that relationship with America. It's not saying we don't want your aid. It's saying we'd love your aid because we're helping you so much. So your aid helps us help ourselves and help you, America. No conditions. It's basically America paying for everything Israel does for America. That type of alliance. That's what we need. Now, that's not simple. And let me go into the geopolitics of explaining how we got to the situation we got to. From 1948 to 1967, Israel was not receiving financial aid or military aid from America. Definitely not as a sole provider. At the time, until 1967, if I believe correctly, it was mostly France that provided us much of our military equipment or planes, etc. We weren't getting much from America because in the American global political view, Israel was a tiny, weak country. Hence, America did not want to invest in Israel. When did American aid start coming to Israel? Only after the 1967 miraculous Six-Day War. Now ask yourself, what changed that brought about America to finally create a deep alliance with Israel after the 1967 war? Well, I hinted it to you before. Up to 1967, Israel was looked at as a small, weak country that any day will be destroyed. Any day, the Arab Muslim world was trying to destroy us between 1948 to 1967. And we were small and weak in what former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Abba Eban, said were the Auschwitz borders, right? Israel, without Judea and Samaria, are Auschwitz borders, where there are some lines where there's only of Israel's border was only 2-3 miles between the Arab-held areas in Judea and Samaria and the Mediterranean Ocean, with Israelis stuck, Jews stuck within this 2-mile area between Judea and Samaria, where the Arabs were in control between 1948 and 1967, and the Mediterranean Ocean. All right, so that's why it was called the Auschwitz borders. Israel was looked at as weak. America doesn't invest in weak. When Israel miraculously, because it's thanks to God above that we won the Six-Day War, not just because of our army and our soldiers, but always with the partnership of God. After that miraculous win, America saw, wow, Israel's here to stay. And that's when they decided to start investing and giving Israel aid. But ever since 1967, we've never had a military win like the 1967 Six-Day War. Why? Because America doesn't let us win. Every single time we are winning, the world with America at the forefront stops us from having victory. And again, this happened even before America started its alliance with us after 1967, because in 1948 the war was stopped, but back then we were weak, so we wanted to stop. 1956, Egypt was allowing terrorists to attack us from Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula. Israel liberated Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula, and then it was France and the European countries and Britain at the time that forced Israel to relinquish our wins of Gaza and the Sinai and give it back to Egypt, even though we won. They attacked us. We went to defend ourselves, and then France and Britain and the European countries forced us to return Gaza and the Sinai to Egypt. That was 1956. 1967, we won in 6 days. It was such a miraculous, quick win. Thank God, no, we weren't. There wasn't anyone to give the land to. But since then, the world has been pressuring us to give away Judea and Samaria and Gaza. Ever since the 1993 Oslo Accords, that wasn't something that came out of the blue. Ever since 1967, the world has been pressuring Israel to get out of Judea and Samaria and Gaza. That's what they want. They want a weak Israel. And since 1967, every time the 1973 war, America basically told Israel, stand down. Don't do a surprise attack like 67. Wait to be attacked first, and only then will we support you. So we lost so many soldiers in those first days because they didn't let us. Egypt and Syria declared war, and we weren't allowed to do a preemptive attack because America said no. Right? 1982, Beirut, fiasco. We were also stopped from being able to win. We were about to obliterate, kill Arafat and his terrorists. And again, Arafat and his terrorists, remember this. Before they were in Lebanon, they were in Jordan. They were trying to take over, do a coup in Jordan. The Jordan Hashemite kingdom put down the coup and expelled Arafat and his terrorists. So they went to Lebanon, and Israel was about to kill and end Arafat and his bunch of terrorists, the PLO. And America said, no, 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 stop the war. And they made Israel end the war to allow Arafat and his terror cronies to escape, where they went to Tunisia, I think, some other country, Tunis, right? Because of American pressure. 1993, the Oslo peace process, forcing Israel to give away our land in Judea and Samaria, bring in terrorists. Every single war, we are forced to end and give up and give in without winning, without having complete victory. And it only started in 1967, America getting more involved because they saw we were a power in the region that they couldn't ignore anymore. We were going to stay around. We weren't going to be obliterated. What's the lesson for us Jews and the Jewish state of Israel? The world respects strong countries. The world despises weak countries. And it's up to us, Israel, to act like we're seen as being a strong country, stand up for our interests, stand up to defend our people properly, obliterate the evil that we are up against. And unfortunately, we are not allowed to do it now because of the golden handcuffs of U.S. financial aid. We have to break those golden handcuffs and change that U.S. financial aid relationship from the golden handcuffs to a mutual understanding of benefits to one another. We provide X, Y, Z to America. In exchange, they provide us financial aid. That's what's then going to bring freedom to the world, because a strong Israel, together with a strong America, can provide that freedom. But what exists in the existing State Department, White House, CIA thinking stops America and stops Israel from helping America to provide true safety and security for the whole freedom-loving world. So I hope this analysis helps you better understand the challenges that Israel has in doing what is necessary. And right now, the government is going against the will of the people. The will of the people want to put an end to this war so there's never terror again from Gaza or Hezbollah in the north. And the government is not pushing in that direction. And the US and Israeli generals are not pushing in that direction because they're very much influenced by America and want to make the Americans happy. Because, oh, if we don't make the Americans happy, we won't get our munitions. We won't get our missiles. We won't get the support to do what we have to do, which all of that is true, but they're not looking out for the best interests of Israel and Israeli citizens. They're looking out for the interests of America and not standing strong for us. So the Israeli people want the Israeli government and the IDF to do everything that's necessary to make this the last war from Gaza and Lebanon so that everyone up north and down south can move back home. So the government has every public support to do that and stand up to America. But we don't have the leadership yet. Not in the army, not in politics. That's what we have to pray for. That's what we have to work for. And again, it's not about just providing the security for Jews in Israel and all Israeli citizens. Only when Israel obliterates the evil here will you be safer in America. If Israel gives up and gives into the pressure from America to not end this war properly and end this evil against us, the Arab world will be encouraged to continue their evil Islamic jihadi ways, not just against us in Israel, but against infidels all over the world. Only when they get the message that they're going to lose their land, right? If they have homes and communities, lost. You lost it. You take on the Jew, you tried to massacre the Jew, and you lose your land. That's the only thing they care about. And they're gone too. Let them to voluntarily immigrate other places. They don't have homes left. There's nothing to stay for. Let them voluntarily immigrate to Egypt, Qatar, Jordan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, places that they agree with the policy and the ideology. Only then, when there's a clear sign of victory and Israelis are safe from their evils, that's when the Arab Muslim world will get the message that no funny business anymore. They can't play around with their terror, high flame, low flame, when they know the world's going to get involved and stop Israel from stopping it. And this endangers all of you, all over the world. So you got to be vocal to your congressmen and senators and politicians and community leaders. Support Israel in putting an end once and for all to the evil in Gaza and the evil of the Iranian proxies in Hezbollah, in Lebanon, all over the world. I believe this will happen. When it will happen, how it'll happen, I don't know. But the Jewish people in Israel are waking up. It's a wake-up process I talk to you about all the time. We are waking up. So we don't have the leadership yet, but it's at the bottom, and it's going to come up. I hope it would happen tomorrow. I hope the evil would be ended tomorrow. I wish we had the leadership tomorrow to stand up and say exactly what needs to be said to America. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's a month. Maybe it's a year. Don't know, but it's going to happen. And my thinking is, as things get crazier around the world and there's less interest in what's going on here in Israel, then Israel will finally be able to do what we need to do. Because America and Europe, they're just going to be totally stuck in survival mode for their own countries because of the insanity that's going to be happening. Is that going to happen? Am I just being optimistic in my thinking? Well, or realistic, or I don't know. That's my thinking. I wish tomorrow everything would be great for all of us everywhere. But like we started off this pulse talking about, we don't have the leadership. Leadership's totally corrupt everywhere. They don't have our best interests at heart. It's up to us. Up to us, and have faith in the one above. And with that partnership, we're going to make the world a better place. Signing off for another episode of the Pulse of Israel in the middle of this war, and me in the middle of my shifts in security detail here in the beautiful, ancestral, eternal hills of Judea and Samaria and our ancestral homeland Israel. If you are not yet a subscriber to Pulse of Israel videos, just go visit pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you like these videos and the messages I put out there, just click donate on the donate button every once in a while on pulseofisrael.com to support our work so more people are better informed with the inspiring, politically incorrect truth about what we, the Jewish people in the Jewish land of Israel, are experiencing and what's affecting the whole freedom-loving world. And remember, we have faith in the one above. We have the guns to protect ourselves. Am Yisrael Chai. We got a good future. It's just a bumpy road. Shalom, everyone.
Am Yisrael Chai, everyone. Am Yisrael Chai. Woo!
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.